Hello, welcome to another review of a class mod in the Darkest Dungeon. Today we're going to be talking about the Twilight Knight. The Twilight Knight is one of those characters that you put in the front line and they either become a target while they repose as they do damage and stress heal themselves because the majority of their moves will stress them out. So it's up to them to de-stress themselves, and they can also de-stress the party and do damage at the same time. So for now, we're going to talk about the base stats, the resistance, combat skills, camping skills, and some strategies that I would recommend if you want to get into using this character. I would also leave links in the description on the character if you want to click and subscribe or download or however you want to do this, so that way you too can use the Twilight Knight with memes and stuff. But let's get right to it, shall we? So the Twilight Knight base stats are pretty interesting. It's just that she has a lot of HP, obviously. She can do damage. Her crit is very naturally high, so that's the start. It's good already. However, she doesn't have good accuracy, so of course you're gonna have to give her some trinkets to increase that accuracy. On my previous videos, I never just detailed on what was good accuracy and what wasn't, so I'll make it very basic and simple. Anything going beyond 105 is slightly decent, to where if it's 110 or higher can be fairly good. Obviously anything passing 120 is amazing, and anything below 100 is not that great. But this is why most characters in the Darkest Dungeon that have low accuracy either have moves to help their accuracy, or camping skills to help their accuracy, trinkets, or maybe they get support from other allies to boost their accuracy. So I just want to make that loud and clear. So let's go. Going back to the base stats, since she doesn't have any good accuracy, you're gonna have to give her some trinkets to increase that accuracy, because the majority of her moves range from 105 to 110. So there you go. They're not bad, it's just, you know, you're not gonna have them hit consistently all the time. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. But overall, these stats are pretty good. The resistance are kind of tanky. It's just that her bleed resistance is her second lowest, but her disease stats are the lowest of the stats. Other than that, she'll barely get poisoned, she won't get stunned, she won't be moved around, and debuffing won't be an issue. And death blow is kind of high, you know, whatever, kinda. I have a quirk that increases that, so just ignore that for now. Other than that, this is pretty tanky. Just pretty tanky. It's not as tanky as some other class characters that we've discussed in previous videos, but you know, you take it as it is. So let's start with the combat skills. Our first combat skill is Smoothing Slash. It can be used in positions 1 to 2, and you can hit positions from 1 to 2. The accuracy base is 105, crit is a plus 7%, and when on hit, she can de-stress herself by -6. Good so far. Really, really good. The crit 7, really good. And you know, if you combine that with her natural crit of 8, you should see that, you know, combined together, and you should see some crits being constantly triggered from time to time. Not all the time, but like 50-50 in a way. Just remember, trinket accuracies plus 105 accuracy base stats makes hits become slightly consistent. I just want to get that out of the way. So just remember that as we go along with these accuracy base stats. For now, this is a really good melee skill. Highly recommend. The next combat skill is Whirlwind Attack. It can be used in positions 1 to 2 and can hit both positions 2 to 3 on the enemy side. It's an AoE attack. And the accuracy base is 105. However, you lose power with negative 60%. The crit is kind of low from 4%, but it pushes 2 and 3's positions back by 1. So you can actually shuffle them either in the back row or from 2 to 3. That's basically it. I usually have this on her too, in case I want to shuffle around someone in the middle. Mostly the stress damager characters. So this is also recommended. Love this move. And sometimes you might kill people in the middle as well. So it's really good if you want to attack the middle row. You won't be doing damage, but you know, if they're like almost to where they can get killed, then by all means use this move. Have fun being the helicopter of the group. The next move is Slay the Beast. It is a move that has an accuracy base of 105, but the crit is plus 9%. It has a plus 70% damage boost against Beast and Elthric. However, on hit, she marks herself and debuffs herself by negative 40% of damage and negative 20 dodge. So this is one of those moves where you have to think about whether you want to get rid of a really strong Beast or a really strong Elthric. You never want to keep on doing this all the time. So if you're going to places like the Cove or that forest-like swamp area, or sometimes the sewers, I could recommend this move. Just remember the debuffs. And usually most debuffs on allies last for like 2 to 3 turns. So you're gonna have to think about that if they live. So there's a lot of high risk, high reward with these type of moves. That's all I'm saying. Use this move if you want to. The next move we're gonna talk about is Strike to Stun. Oh wait, before we move on, Slay the Beast. I think I said it can be used in positions 1 to 2, but I'll repeat it. Can be used in positions 1 to 2. Can hit enemies from 1 to 2. Now let's move on. The next move is Strike to Stun. It can be used in positions 1 to 2 and can hit from positions from 1 to 2. The accuracy base is 100. And of course you get a penalty damage of negative 60%. And the crit mod is like plus 2%. But it has a high chance of stunning. And on hit, it can lower their stun by 15%. Their stun resist by 15%. It's alright. I don't usually like stun moves, but if you really feel like you need it, then by all means go ahead, use this move. I personally wouldn't do it, but if you want to, it's right there, you know. All I'm saying is, you know, go ahead. But personally, I don't really like stun moves unless it's on a different type of role of hero, like a support or a healer. Never damagers. It's never gone so well. That's all. Anyways, moving on. The next move is Anticipation. It can be used in positions 1 to 2, and it's a repose. Once the repose is activated, she will mark herself and give herself plus 12 dodge. So, this is really good. I actually like this move. The repose are like really strong in this game. So any character of a repose, you know you're ready for some crazy shenanigans. I highly recommend this move as well. There's too much potential with the reposes, mostly for her. Getting marked may be a bad thing, but those plus 12 dodge numbers stacked on whatever you have stacked with your trinkets onto the Twilight Knight will make her unhittable. Like, enemies will have a hard time hitting her, and it's crazy. So I recommend it. I recommend it completely. So yeah. The next combat skill is a Glimmer of Hope. It can be used in any position, and she de-stresses the entire party by -12 and gives the torches a +9. On self, she will give herself +6 stress and de-stealth herself and mark herself at the same time. Now, I don't know about the de-stealthing, but the mark and +6 stealth, +6 stress damage onto her is a pretty huge edge. But I guess it shouldn't matter, because once you give yourself +6 stress, your next move, you should already be doing the smoothing slash. So the smoothing slash and Glimmer of Hope goes hand in hand. The only problem is whatever negative quirks you have will be added to +6 strength. What I mean by is, if she has a negative quirk of being afraid of closed space areas, and that applies the stress, like maybe by 10% or 20, +6 stress might go up a little higher. Just please be aware of that. Other than that, the positive parts about Glimmer of Hope, yeah, using upping the torches and de-stressing the entire party by 12 is really, really good. I highly recommend this move too, and swap it out for the other moves that you want. The last move is something that I feel like you should just keep forever, is a Leap of Faith. Leap of Faith is a move that can be used in positions 2 to 4 and can hit on the enemy side from 1 to 2, and it moves her forward by 2 positions. The accuracy base is 110. It gives you a plus 30% of damage, a crit mod of plus 8%, and on hit, she will mark herself and give herself 25% protection. The debuff on herself will be a -20 on damage, and of course, -10 dodge. Now, you may hear the debuffs being kind of bad, but 25% protection is already good in my book. Even if she marks herself, it's still really good, because that damage will be cut in half with the protection. And then the next thing you should be doing will be Anticipation. Here we go. Anticipation, which will give back her +10 dodges with an extra 2 more points of dodge. And then after that, all you have to do is just wait until the debuff ends so you can do these damaging moves, or this one. So Leap of Faith is really good if you're moved around in different positions. And trust me, you will be moved around in different positions. Hell, if you put her in a shuffling team, this move is also really good for that reason. Because what's really important is that you really want her to be either in positions 1 or 2, mostly in 1. That's what this character is stationed for. It's totally recommended that you put her in position 1 and always in position 1. If she's moved away from position 1, this is what Leap of Faith is all about. So always have this move in her. So in conclusion, with the combat skills, you can have something look like this and you'll be good, or this and you'll be good as well. Now, like I said, if you're in those areas where you don't like being at, where Beast and Elthrix will constantly be harassing your team, this would be good. Or if you really want those stuns, I guess this is good too. But I'm telling you, man, having this, or even this is good. And I recommend what I just showed you right now. Don't be fooled by this. Just saying, don't be fooled by this. It may be truthful in those official Darkest Dungeon characters, but for the modded classes, this changes. But other than that, that's what I recommend. Let's move on to the camping skills. Now, as I said before, most mod classes will have 3 default camping skills, which is this one, and this one, and you know how I feel about pep talk. But like most class mods, they have their 4 unique camping skills. So let's start talking about the first one, which is the first story. It's a time cost 4, and she gives herself a plus 10 dodge while giving herself a 20% of stress resistance. She can also give the same amount of boost to her teammates, and this lasts for 4 battles. I think this is really good. Giving everyone plus 10 dodge is just too good, especially the negative 20 stress resistance. Really, really, really good. Highly recommend it if you have the points for it. So that's it. It's short and simple. Plus 10 dodge, too good. The next one's probably like one of my favorites and kind of hilarious too, and it's Talk to the Sword. Talk to the Sword is a time cost 3, and she gives herself a 5% crit plus 10 accuracy while de-stressing herself by negative 40 stress. She also stresses her entire teammates by 13 points of stress, and the buff lasts for 4 battles. Man, talk about crazy, right? Talking to the sword like a crazy person and having your teammates just question themselves, going, is the Twilight Knight alright? Why is she talking to the sword? But giving your team 13 points of stress doesn't seem so bad if you use this move first before you decide to de-stress everybody else when it comes to camping. If you just do it at the end, it can lead to some problems, but it's still not a big deal. The boost, however, is really good, especially the de-stressing. A huge number of de-stressing yourself in camp. It's really, really good. I would recommend if you feel like it's safe. Just pay attention to that, if it's safe. The next camping skill is the Edge of Reason. It's a time cost 2, and these buffs and sometimes debuffs varies on percentages. So here we go. In the 45% chances, she might give herself a plus 15 of max HP, a plus 15 in damage, and plus 3 speed. Now, the 35% chances are the negatives. She might give herself a negative 10% of HP, a negative 10% of damage, and a negative 2 points of speed. For the buffs, last for 4 battles. The debuffs last. Oh, yeah. The buffs last for 4 battles. The debuffs last for 3 battles. This is one of those gamble camping skills if you're feeling lucky. 45 versus 35 is too risky in my book. If it was a little higher, like maybe 50 or 75, maybe, just maybe. But this is too much. The Edge of Reason is a super double-edged sword, but it's cheap, so if you feel like gambling and you got enough time, fine. Throw your time points away and gamble. And if you get the buffs, cool. If you get the negative debuffs, well, you want to play super careful for the next 3 battles. I guess that's the only good thing about the debuffs. They only last for 3 battles, and you just gotta hang tight, play it super safe, and when it's over, you can go back to being, you know, kind of reckless and all that whatnot. Excuse me. Use this move if you're feeling lucky. The last camping skill is the Murmuring Lantern. It's this thing right here. The Murmuring Lantern is a time cost 2, and on self prevents nightmare ambush and gives a negative 20% chance of a party surprise. This lasts for 4 battles. This is probably the cheapest camping skill of nightmare prevention with no drawbacks. No drawbacks at all. Really cheap, and it gives you more options for your other allies to use the expensive camping skills. The ones that usually cost a time cost 4, sometimes a time cost 5. It's insane how much lenience you can get when you're stuck with a nightmare prevention that only costs you 2 points of time. So I highly recommend you use this camping skill before you get to the other camping skills. So overall, this is something I highly recommend. You do this first, and then you get more lenience for using the other ones. Really, really good. Highly recommend. Now, on to the trinkets. Now, her own unique trinkets aren't so bad, like this thing right here. And of course, you know, regular trinkets like this is also good too. I finally saw the negatives for the legendary bracer. It gives you like negative 8 points in dodge. So if you throw this on her, yeah, you'll be lowering your dodge. But remember, you have combat skills that will increase those dodge numbers. So it's not technically too bad to throw that on her. What I'm trying to say is the vanilla trinkets and the you know, trinket mods for this character are not so bad. So experiment, see which one's good, which doesn't work, and I don't know, just have a lot of fun with the Twilight Knight. In conclusion, this character is like one of my favorite class mod characters. I bring her almost the majority of my runs, and I don't know, she's just a lot of fun. Really, really fun. I would highly recommend this character, and like I said, I will leave a link in the description so that way you can download her and try her out, and all that whatnot. And once this video ends, you should see a demonstration of what she's like on the field with a vanilla team. And you'll see how that goes. And lastly, if you guys have any questions or you want to critique my videos, leave comments. And if you like my reviews, please subscribe, leave a like, and share it with your friends and all that whatnot. Other than that, that's all I gotta say. You guys have a nice day, nice evening, nice morning, and take care of yourselves, okay? I'll see you around.
Etrian falls,